Welcome back to Shop Talk. I'm Riat Anwatco Trillo. We're talking about the National Marketing Conference, and that's happening on June 23rd and 24th at the Hotel Sofitel. Now, one of the topics to be discussed at the conference is innovative thinking. And here to give us a preview of that is Bienvenido Dudes Policarpio. He's the president and CEO of Dale Carnegie Philippines. Hello, Dudes. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Happy to be invited here today.
Okay, to start off with, who was Dale Carnegie?
Well, Dale Carnegie began in the late 1800s. He was a salesman, a preacher, and then one day he wrote a book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, 30 Principles. Up to this very day, that book is the second largest bestseller worldwide, next only to the Bible. So that's how, what he wrote there made him what he is.
Right, and those principles you said are still being applied today.
Oh, it's universal, it's timeless.
Right.
Okay. Very applicable.
Well, your organization has been here in the Philippines since the 1950s.
1952 in the Philippines.
Right.
1912 in Chicago.
All right. So what exactly are the topics and skills that you teach at Dale Carnegie Philippines?
Basically soft skills, meaning we're talking in terms of human relations, employee engagement, communications, building confidence, enthusiasm, being able to be assertive without being offensive, working on the IQ, EQ, MQ side of life, you know, intellectual, emotional, moral aspects of daily living. And these are governed by the principles, and they're very applicable on the higher executive level, middle management, rank file, even students. Everyone benefits from this.
Okay, and so much is said, of course, about innovative thinking. We live in a fast-changing world, and we need to be able to adapt. How does your organization define innovative thinking, and why do we need it?
Well, innovative thinking is not easily defined in a sentence. It's designed in a context, meaning innovative thinking is about being able to see what other people normally don't see. Being able to look beyond normal people see within a framework of time. And when they describe a visionary, he's somebody he innovates. He is somebody who makes things happen. So innovative thinking is making things better from where they were and gradually move forward and getting better still. The big essence of this, particularly in business, is for organizations to be developing and bringing products and services at the fastest time with the lowest cost, with the highest value. Now that's where the race is. Now it's everybody's ball game to get there.
Right.
Because of competition, regulation, the economy, everything else. So it's very challenging. Somebody has to outthink the other all the time.
Right. But some people might say that that sort of thing is inborn. You have it or you don't.
Yeah. You're born with it, and that's who the big guys are in the game. The Chinese taipans, the big boys in the industry. They're born with it, they get ideas, they take risks, and it just flies out into the marketplace, successful. But what about the non-big boys? Ordinary people like you and me, how do we cope? How do we cope with competition? How do we cope with the price game? How do we cope with regulation? So if we do things the same way, we're not going to survive. So innovative thinking comes into the picture. In what ways can we do this and do that without sacrificing efficiency, without increasing cost? So that's a challenge for innovative thinking. That's the way to survive.
And this sort of thing can be learned, you say?
It can be learned even if you are not born with it. It's a technique and it's a science. That's the beauty of it.
Right. What would you say are the principles behind innovative thinking?
Well, generally you're talking about red light and green light thinking. Green light thinking talks about non-judgmental acceptance of ideas. You don't make a judgment on whether idea is good or bad or right or wrong. Just take it. So that's non-judicial. Idea fluency, meaning one idea rides upon the other until it gets bigger and bigger. Well, the idea is about quantity. You try to get as many ideas as you can without validating them. You go for brainstorming. That's green light. And then you move to red light thinking. That's judgmental now. You qualify, you validate. Then you work with quality of the idea now. But red light won't happen unless green light was taken up first.
Okay.
So now it talks about brain capacity. How much can your brain produce? That's one. Lateral thinking, meaning not the traditional way of 1 + 1 = 2. Probably 1 + 1 can be 5 or 7 or 9. And the other one's called flip side thinking. If this is one idea, what's the flip side of that idea? And psychocybernetics.
What is that?
Edward de Bono, many years ago, wrote a book about the brain being compared to an anti-ballistic missile. It seeks out the enemy. It seeks out the target. It flies out looking for something to happen.
Okay.
And there is understanding these principles allow people to become more innovative. But it has to be done sequentially, methodically, and scientifically. You just can't say, let's think out of the box, or let's do things differently. Come on, guys, let's do this.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Right, everybody says that. Here's the question. How? Now that's where we come in.
Right. Okay. And what have people said, or how have their lives changed after listening to your talks or attending your courses?
Oh, thank you for asking. Many people write testimonies about how their lives have changed, how life-changing the lessons they have learned are, how they have applied this to career, to family, to health, to business, to survival, politics. I mean, in every aspect of one's life comes an opportunity to become innovative. Otherwise, people do the same things, the same way, every day, and expect things to be different. No, that's not going to be the case.
Right.
So in every aspect of what you do, innovative thinking can affect the outcome of what you want to happen.
What are the basic things we can do to help our brain become more innovative in its thinking?
The way to begin is to test it. Like, take a look at a figure and see whether, ask yourself, what do I see? And then you discover that you see things very differently if you look at it for a longer period of time. I even have an exercise that says, I draw a square, bring it down to 16 parts, and I ask everybody, how many squares do you see? I mean, 16. Everybody says 16. Everyone's 32. Look at it. It could be 100 squares there.
Exactly.
That's what I meant. That's where to begin to bring the mind to realize that there is something more than what he sees.
Right. Okay. Setting our brains free from limits.
Yeah.
And you do this through pictures. We have one on the screen right now. Okay. And you ask people if they see gray dots.
Gray parts or black parts. If they take a look at that long enough, they'll see a lot of gray there.
And they sort of appear and disappear.
They appear, disappear, right? And you say, how many squares do you see? They'll start counting. And at the end of the day, they'll say, I find X number of squares. I say, look again. And they say, no, that's about 50 squares, not 25, 100 squares. Limitless.
Right.
So it's looking and seeing beyond what you normally see in the beginning. But that's just a way to crack the brain.
Okay, here's another brain cracker. This one is, you ask people if the purple lines are bent.
Yes, it's actually an optical illusion.
Right.
But that's just the point. People think in the way that they see. You change the way that they see things, they think very differently. So it looks bent when it isn't.
If you put a ruler against that,
It's straight line.
Right. Okay. All right. Maybe we can move on to the next one. I think we're going to show 4.
Oh, there. I don't know what you see there, Ria.
Okay. Well, I am actually sort of familiar with this.
No,
When I first saw it, though, I saw the face.
You see a face.
Like a sort of bespectacled profile.
But you tilt your head a little to the side on your right, and you see a word.
A Okay, and it starts with letter L.
It starts with an
right.
L, and you can actually see it. Now you can spell it.
Right, okay, it's liar. Right, okay.
So the eyes lie many times.
Can't
But the
always
brain
believe what you
responds to
see.
your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. So you can't always believe what your eyes are showing you,
There's a lot more beyond that.
for sure. Okay, this one is a little tricky. I think the caption for this is this possible?
I don't know. The answer could be yes, the other answer could be no. But the point is, if you find that there is a possibility that that can happen, it will happen. You're just going to have to try and break it down and take a look at it. But that's where it all starts.
Right.
The normal answer, say, no, impossible. That would be the normal answer. The normal answer would be 16 squares. The answer would be, I see a face. No. Go beyond. That's when we start the science of innovative thinking.
Use your brain. You're not kidding when you say use your brain.
You gotta use it.
Right. Okay. So you will be talking at the conference, right? Which day would that be?
Day 2, first session.
Okay,
That's on the
so that's
24th.
June 24th, and you'll be talking precisely about this sort of thing.
Exactly. I'll do exercises. I won't do a speech.
Okay.
People get bored with speeches. So
Yes, I agree.
I'll do a workshop.
Okay, so a nice interactive workshop. So again,
Everybody gets involved.
right, that the marketing conference, of course, will be happening on June 23rd and 24th. If you want to catch Dudes Policarpio here, he is on the morning of the 24th.
That's right.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank you
Shop
very
Talk
much.
and opening our thinking. And thank all of you for watching Shop Talk. I'm Ria Tanwatco Trillo. Please follow ANC Shop Talk on Twitter and be a fan of ANC Shop Talk on Facebook. Join us again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.